The first thing you notice isn't the movement, it's the silence. That strange, heavy quiet that settles over a room just before something venomous decides it no longer wants to be seen. People imagine the world's deadliest spiders as loud nightmares with fangs and fury. But the truth is far more unsettling. The most dangerous ones don't rush. They wait. They linger inside folds of shadow, listening to the rhythm of your steps, tasting the air for heat and breath, deciding whether you are prey, predator, or simply an accident waiting to happen long before you see them. They have already judged you, and long before their venom reaches your blood, your fate may already be sealed. Most creatures rely on strength or speed. Spiders rely on chemistry. Their bodies are living laboratories, perfecting toxins older than humanity itself. Some paralyze, some melt, some shut down the body from the inside out with a cold precision evolution rarely grants to small animals. And buried at the very bottom of this hierarchy is a venom so powerful it rewrites the definition of fear. But to understand how we get there, from harmless silk weavers to apex-level biochemical assassins, we have to climb the ladder one rung at a time, weak to deadly, familiar to nightmarish. A journey where every step reveals a creature more evolved for killing than the last. If you enjoy sinking into the darker edges of nature, the places where evolution shows its sharpest teeth, consider subscribing and leaving a like. It helps this channel reach more curious minds, and it ensures you never miss the next descent into the wild. The climb into the story of venom begins where most people never bother to look, with the spiders we dismiss as ordinary, too small or too common to be dangerous. Yet danger doesn't always announce itself with size. Sometimes it hides in the patient tapping of 8 legs against old wood, in the faint pulse of silk drifting through stale air, in the illusion that a creature is harmless simply because it prefers not to be noticed. The first step on this ladder of lethality begins in the quiet corners of human life. Attics warmed by forgotten summers, cracked garden pots, dim basements that smell of dust and iron. Here, faint movements belong to species whose venom is mild by comparison, yet powerful enough to reveal the evolutionary story written beneath their tiny bodies. At a glance, these spiders seem fragile, almost gentle. Their limbs bend like thin wire, their abdomens pulsing with slow, almost musical breaths. But even the weakest among them carries a lineage shaped by predation and survival, a code etched deeper than instinct. Some rely on neurotoxins that disrupt the small electrical rhythms of insects, freezing them mid-flight or mid-crawl. Others deliver venom designed to soften flesh without fully destroying it, creating a quiet meal that sinks into their silk-lined dens. For humans, these bites are usually no more than an irritation, redness, warmth, swelling. But evolution never designs anything without a purpose, and that purpose always begins far below the surface. There is something mesmerizing about watching these lesser-known spiders hunt. They do not rush. They do not panic. They calculate. A fruit fly lands too close to the sticky heart of a web, and in the space between 2 heartbeats, the spider's world narrows to a single point of motion. It doesn't choose violence out of impulse, but out of certainty. A quick strike, a measured dose of venom, and the fly collapses into stillness. There is no malice in this moment, only survival. Only a biological truth that has unfolded for hundreds of millions of years in the dark. It is easy to forget that spiders have been here long before mammals, long before forests took their modern shape, long before the sky was ruled by birds instead of reptilian wings. These creatures survived mass extinctions, shifting continents, volcanic winters, Their venom remained unchanged in principle, but refined in precision. And when you watch even the least dangerous among them at work, you can sense that history in their movements, slow, patient, almost deliberate, as though each strike is a ritual taught across countless generations. Every ecosystem uses these spiders as its silent janitors. They sweep away pests, regulate insect populations, and create pockets of balance that go unnoticed until the moment they disappear. Remove them, and chaos blooms. Swarms grow unchecked, disease-carrying insects multiply, and the ground-level structure of life begins to tilt. The weakest venomous spiders may not pose much threat to us, but they are pillars of their small worlds, the first whisper in a chain of forces that keeps entire ecosystems steady. But what makes this early step in the hierarchy so fascinating is not the power of the venom itself. It's the architecture behind it. Even the least potent spiders wield toxins made of complex molecules, amino acid sequences twisted into shapes that target specific biological systems. Their venom is efficient, methodical, and engineered by time to act swiftly on creatures far smaller than us. Yet within this mixture lie early clues to what separates dangerous spiders from deadly ones: potency, delivery speed, enzyme composition, neural disruption. Each of these elements starts here, in these humble corners of the spider kingdom, like the earliest strokes in a painting that will one day become a masterpiece of lethality. Occasionally, these small spiders cross paths with humans in ways neither party intends. A hidden web inside a gardening glove, a gentle brush against a forearm while moving an old box, a soft bite mistaken for a sting from something else. The reaction is mild, a tingling at the edge of sensation, a warmth that spreads like a quiet warning. These encounters are easy to forget, yet they mark the beginning of a scale that rises steeply toward creatures whose venom can do far more than irritate. They are reminders that even the smallest dose of evolutionary design encounters that one begins to sense the deeper story. A spectrum of venom that moves from irritation to agony, from discomfort to medical emergency, from temporary paralysis to something far more permanent. And as we walk upward on this ladder, the air shifts, the tension sharpens, because beyond these fragile hunters there exist spiders whose venom is crafted not just to incapacitate, but to dominate. Chemicals so refined they can shut down essential systems with brutal efficiency. The transition is subtle at first, like the dimming of a light before darkness fully settles in. You begin by observing the quiet world of mild venom, and suddenly you realize how quickly nature can escalate. There is a threshold where curiosity becomes caution, and caution becomes something like fear. Because the next step, the next set of fangs glinting in the shadows, belongs to spiders that do not simply hunt insects, they challenge much larger creatures with toxins that strike deeper, harder, and far faster. And once you cross that threshold, you can't go back. The ladder only climbs higher from here. The shift into the next tier of venom isn't loud or dramatic. It feels more like a slow tightening of atmosphere, the way a room darkens not because the lights have dimmed, but because something inside it has changed. Here, the spiders grow bolder, their movements more assertive, their venom more complex. These are the species that step beyond simple survival chemistry and into the realm of true biological weapons. Their existence is a reminder that evolution never stops sharpening its tools, and some of those tools were designed to test the limits of pain. In this middle tier, the spiders carry a confidence that the mild venom hunters never needed. Watch a huntsman spider glide across a tree trunk, and you'll see a predator that knows its strength. Not the strength to kill a human, Its venom isn't built for that, but the strength to dominate anything. Its own size, or slightly larger. Its speed is startling, a blur of legs and shadow that appears and vanishes before most eyes can adjust. There is nothing timid in its approach. It moves like a creature fully aware of its evolutionary success. A spider that doesn't run from danger so much as weigh its options before deciding whether the confrontation is worth its time. Their venom, too, is a step upward. It hits harder, spreads faster, and carries enzymes programmed to dismantle tissue with a quiet efficiency that borders on artistry. A bite from one of these spiders can leave a human with throbbing pain, swollen skin, and in rare cases, a lingering numbness that crawls along nerves like a cold hand. It isn't deadly, but it is a warning shot from nature, a reminder that size isn't the only measure of threat. But perhaps the most unsettling part of this tier is not the huntsman, or even the fast-moving wolf spiders that stalk the ground like miniature wolves under moonlit grass. It's the spiders that prefer stillness, the ambush hunters, buried in bark or leaves, waiting for the world to wander too close. Their venom is designed not for prolonged battles, but for decisive ends. One moment of contact, one perfectly timed strike, and prey collapses under the sudden collapse of muscle coordination. This is where venom becomes not just a tool of predation, but a strategy. A particular spider in this group that captures the imagination of both scientists and storytellers. The sac spider. It is small, unassuming, often pale-colored, and astonishingly fast when startled. Its venom contains cytotoxins, chemicals that break down cell membranes with ruthless simplicity. A bite from a sac spider is rarely serious for humans, but it can leave behind a lesion that burns for days, as though the skin remembers what touched it. These reactions are rare, but they reveal a truth. Evolution crafts venom with layered precision. Even spiders not considered medically dangerous can inflict wounds that linger in memory. This middle tier is filled with such contradictions, spiders that do not seek conflict, but can deliver it with brutal suddenness. Creatures that look delicate, yet hold toxins capable of unraveling the physiology of insects with surgical accuracy. Venom that doesn't kill us, but reminds us we are not exempt from the rules of nature. Every encounter with these spiders feels like a negotiation, one where both sides decide whether the moment will end quietly or with a sharp, burning sting. And yet, for all their unsettling power, these spiders rarely cause serious harm. The vast majority of bites occur when humans accidentally disrupt their world, reaching into piles of firewood, slipping feet into boots left outside overnight, brushing aside leaves. These spiders do not hunt us. They defend themselves, and they do so with venom just strong enough to send a message. This is not your territory. There is a strange beauty in this balance. These creatures are neither harmless nor deadly, neither timid nor aggressive without cause. Their venom sits in the middle of the evolutionary ladder like an inflection point, a place where nature has begun to push boundaries, test potentials, refine biochemical craftsmanship. If the weakest spiders are whispers, these are clear voices. Strong, confident, unmistakable voices that hint at the storm gathering further ahead. Because beyond this tier lie spiders whose venom is no longer merely defensive or opportunistic, venom that doesn't just disable, but devastates. Venom capable of collapsing systems that should never fail. Venom that compresses agony into moments so sharp it feels unreal. There are spiders whose toxins act on nerve junctions like lightning strikes. Spiders whose bites cause muscles to lock so violently victims cannot breathe. Spiders whose venom dissolves flesh with such precision it seems engineered. In the middle tier, you begin to understand the gradient. You feel the slope of danger rising beneath your feet. And with every species you encounter here, the question grows louder. If this is what nature produces in its moderate forms, what does it look like when evolution stops holding back? Ahead lies the answer. Ahead is the territory of spiders that have left restraint behind. There is a moment when climbing the ladder of venom where the air itself feels different. The shadows seem to lean in. The silence deepens, and instinct whispers that whatever lives beyond this point was shaped not just to survive, but to dominate. This is where the hierarchy of spiders crosses its first true threshold of fear. The realm of species whose venom doesn't merely inconvenience or intimidate, but overwhelms their toxins, can fuse pain into muscle, distort breathing, twist nerves into frantic misfires. These are the spiders that leave marks not only on the skin, but on memory. They are the ones that reshape stories around campfires, the ones that linger in medical journals as warnings, the ones evolution pushed toward the edge of biological warfare. At the forefront of this tier stands the notorious widow spiders, creatures whose very silhouette casts a long shadow across human imagination. The glossy black abdomen, the iconic red hourglass, the eerie calm with which they sit suspended in their messy three-dimensional webs. There is nothing frantic about them, no needless motion. They move as though they know exactly how powerful they are, as though their venom is a secret they carry with a kind of cold authority. That venom, a neurotoxin known as lethality, strikes with unnerving precision. It forces nerve endings to fire uncontrollably, flooding muscles with signals they were never meant to handle. Victims describe the sensation as a tightening, then a twisting, then a crushing pressure that flows outward like liquid electricity. The pain does not stay politely near the bite. It radiates into the chest, the abdomen, the back. Some people gasp for air, not because their lungs fail, but because their nerves are screaming too loudly for the body to function. Normally, widow spider bites are rarely fatal with modern treatment, but they are never forgotten. Latrodectism, the syndrome caused by their venom, can leave muscles sore for days, as though the body has survived a violent storm. What makes widow spiders so haunting is their restraint. They do not seek confrontation. They hide in dark corners, inside wood piles, beneath rocks, in quiet places where they expect the world to leave them alone. When they bite, it is because something larger, something clumsy, has cornered them without knowing. The violence of their venom is a last resort, but one nature perfected with chilling efficiency. Then, there is the brown recluse, a spider that embodies the concept of silent danger. It does not look threatening. Its body is plain, its color unremarkable, its size modest. Yet inside it sits a venom unlike anything else in the spider kingdom. A cytotoxic cocktail capable of causing necrosis, the death of living tissue. A recluse bite may begin as a mild irritation, barely noticeable, a small red mark that could be mistaken for a mosquito. But beneath the skin, enzymes are already at work. They dismantle cell membranes, interrupt blood flow, break structures that were never meant to be broken. In rare severe cases, the tissue around the bite can collapse, leaving a wound that takes months to heal. The recluse is a spider that tests the boundaries of trust between humans and nature. It forces us to confront the reality that a calm, quiet creature can carry devastation in silence. Yet even this spider does not bite without provocation. Most encounters happen when someone presses against it unknowingly, rolling over in bed, slipping an arm into a forgotten sleeve, lifting an old cardboard box. The recluse is a master of stillness. Its venom is a weapon reserved for unavoidable conflict, a chemical line of defense rather than a predatory tool. Together, the widow and recluse form a threshold species, spiders whose venom reaches beyond localized pain and into systemic crisis. They are the first truly dangerous spiders for humans, not because they seek us out, but because their natural adaptations collide with our environments. They thrive in human homes, sheds, garages, places where shadows gather and insects follow. They coexist with us in the margins, and it is in those margins that mistakes occur. Yet even here, in the territory of real danger, evolution still has room to escalate. Widow venom hijacks the nervous system, but there exist spiders whose toxins strike even faster, locking muscle and breath in ways far more violent. Recluse venom destroys tissue, but there are spiders with venom potent enough to melt through defenses, evolution built into the strongest mammals. As terrifying as this tier is, it is not the summit. It is only the gateway. Is the blend of fear and fascination. We recognize these spiders. We share our spaces with them. We know their names, their shapes, their warnings. They serve as a reminder that danger often hides in the mundane. And yet they also reveal something profound about the natural world, that venom evolves not just for killing, but for precision, that small creatures can carry molecular architectures more complex than any weapon humanity has crafted. The path ahead grows darker. The spiders waiting in the next tier are not cautious, not quiet, not reluctant. They are apex venom specialists, aggressive when threatened, equipped with toxins that can unravel physiology in minutes, capable of consequences so severe they feel unreal until the moment they begin. From here, the ladder narrows. Every step leads closer to the spiders whose venom represents the peak of evolutionary refinement. Creatures so dangerous, they rewrite the definition of predator. There is a point in this ascent where venom stops behaving like an accident of evolution and begins to resemble intent. Not conscious intent, of course. Nature does not think, it perfects, but the effect is the same. Here, in this upper tier, the spiders are no longer reluctant defenders or cautious hunters. They are biochemical specialists. Their bodies are engineered for confrontation. Their venom is built for efficiency, domination, and, in rare cases, devastation, on a scale that sends shockwaves through medical literature. These are the creatures that force humanity to redefine what dangerous truly means. At the forefront of this realm stand the infamous Australian funnel-web spiders, a group so feared that entire generations grew up hearing their name whispered like a warning. The Sydney funnel-web in particular commands a kind of mythic terror. It is large, glossy, armored in midnight black, and moves with a speed that feels unnatural for something with 8 legs. But its most striking trait is its aggression. When threatened, the funnel web does not retreat. It raises its front legs like a dark, living trap, fangs gleaming with venom that has already claimed lives throughout history. This creature does not bluff. It warns. And if that warning goes unheeded, the consequences are immediate. The venom of the funnel web is an atrachotoxin, a neurotoxin that locks open the sodium channels in nerves, sending them into a frenzy of uncontrolled firing. For small animals, the result is almost instant. For humans, particularly children, symptoms can begin within minutes: sweating, nausea, muscle twitching, a racing heartbeat that feels like it is trying to escape the chest. In severe cases, the body spirals into a storm of neural hyperactivity that can shut down essential functions. Before antivenom was developed, funnel web bites often progressed with terrifying speed, giving victims little time to react. Even now, with modern medicine, the spider's venom remains one of the most potent ever discovered. Yet the funnel web is not alone in this tier. The Brazilian wandering spider, sometimes called the banana spider, carries a reputation as chaotic and unpredictable as the rainforests it inhabits. Its venom is a complex cocktail of neurotoxins and peptides that can disrupt the nervous system in ways both painful and dangerous. What sets it apart is its behavior. Unlike most spiders that wait inside webs or hide in stillness, the wandering spider roams the forest floor at night, a mobile predator with excellent vision and a willingness to stand its ground. When confronted, its bite can cause intense pain, sweating, elevated heart rate, and in rare severe cases, systemic reactions that require immediate treatment. These spiders exist at a crossroads between myth and biology. Stories about them spread faster than scientific facts, but the reality is already intense enough without embellishment. The wandering spider is not an indiscriminate killer. It is a creature perfectly adapted to an unforgiving environment, a hunter that relies on speed, vision, and venom to survive in a world filled with predators far larger than itself. Humans only encounter them when habitats overlap, but those encounters leave lasting impressions. Their presence alone is enough to still the forest air. In this upper tier, venom behaves differently. Widow spiders disrupt nerve function. Recluse spiders dissolve tissue. But the spiders here inflict venom that can overwhelm entire systems in a cascade of biochemical chaos. Their toxins act with surgical precision. They do not waste energy. Every molecule exists for a reason, and every reason leads toward one outcome. Yet what makes these spiders truly haunting is not their venom's lethality, but their resilience. Funnel web spiders can survive underwater for hours by trapping air against their bodies. Wandering spiders can cover ground with surprising speed, vanishing into foliage before danger even recognizes their movement. These creatures are not reckless. They are refined, perfected across millions of years in environments where hesitation into their world, the more you sense that evolution has been pushing towards something, an apex, a culmination of biochemical mastery. These spiders represent the nearing summit of venom, yet even they are not the final peak. There are species whose toxins reach further still, whose venom is so potent it borders on unbelievable toxins designed not only to disable or overwhelm, but to collapse physiological systems with a force that feels disproportionate to a question that chills the blood. If evolution gave these spiders such devastating power merely to catch prey or defend themselves, what lies at the very top of this hierarchy? What creature wields venom so potent it transforms fear into something sharper, something more primal? This tier leaves you standing on the edge. Behind you are spiders capable of agony. Before you wait something far worse, an organism so evolved, so chemically perfected, that its venom represents the razor's edge of nature's dark imagination. At the summit of this ladder, where venom becomes legend and biology blurs into nightmare, lies a realm few ever think about for long. Not because the creatures here are imaginary, but because the truth of them is almost too sharp, too precise, too unforgiving to linger on comfortably. This is the apex tier of venom, the place where evolution has committed fully to the art of biochemical dominance. Here, the spiders are not simply predators. They are the living endpoints of millions of years of refinement. Each molecule of their venom shaped by a lineage that survived every catastrophe the planet has ever thrown at them. Their existence is quiet, but their power is absolute. Near the top of this hierarchy stands an Australian species that rarely reaches global fame, but deserves a place in any discussion of lethal design: the mouse spider. At first glance, it resembles a smaller, stockier cousin of the funnel web, but its venom carries a darkness all its own. In some populations, its neurotoxins are nearly as potent as the funnel webs, capable of inducing rapid onset symptoms that ripple through the nervous system in waves. What is unsettling is that mouse spiders often wander far from burrows during the breeding season, crossing paths with humans in quiet suburban yards or gardens. Though bites are uncommon and the spider is less aggressive than its infamous cousin, the power it carries is anything but moderate. It is a reminder that lethality is not always loud. Sometimes it moves slowly, methodically, without drama. Beyond the mouse spider's shadow lies an even more haunting figure: the six-eyed sand spider of southern Africa. It is a creature of stillness, almost impossible to detect as it buries itself beneath shifting dunes, leaving only the faintest tremor of sand to mark its presence. Unlike the neurotoxic philosophy embraced by widows and funnel webs, the sand spider's venom is a necrotic force of extraordinary potency. Its cytotoxins and hemolytic compounds can, in laboratory settings, cause catastrophic tissue destruction. Some researchers theorize its venom could trigger internal bleeding, were the dose large enough, a brutal cocktail of effects that feels excessive for a spider that rarely encounters large prey. Fortunately for humanity, confirmed bites are extremely rare. The spider avoids confrontation with a dedication bordering on obsession, but its potential lingers as a sobering reminder. Some creatures carry weapons they never intend to use, and yet the true summit, the point where this ladder ends, belongs not to a spider of myth, but to one astonishingly misunderstood in popular imagination: the male, Sydney funnel web's close cousins within the Atrax and Hadronicid genera. These spiders possess venom-containing delta-hexatoxins so potent that they can send a healthy adult into life-threatening symptoms within minutes. Their toxins target primate physiology with a strange, almost eerie specificity. Dogs, cats, and many other mammals can withstand doses that would leave a human fighting for every breath. This bizarre evolutionary quirk has puzzled scientists for decades. How could a spider evolve venom that devastates primates, animals it almost never encounters in the wild? Some suggest coincidence. Others propose biochemical pathways shaped indirectly by ancient ecological pressures. Whatever the answer, the result is the same. These spiders stand at the pinnacle of venomous design, their bites representing one of the fastest acting arachnid threats on Earth. But the apex of venom is not only about quantity or speed. It is about purpose. It is about the way nature refines a molecule until it behaves like a key that can slip into any lock the body tries to secure against danger. These spiders are living paradoxes, small, fragile creatures carrying forces that can overwhelm organisms thousands of times their size. Their venom exists not for terror, but for survival, a tool meant to immobilize prey quickly in environments where hesitation could mean starvation. And somewhere beyond the edges of what we know, whispers of possibility linger. Remote caves in Laos where biologists discovered species with unusually large fangs and unknown venom chemistry, forests in Papua New Guinea where locals speak of spiders that glow faintly when disturbed, their bite said to cause hallucinations. Folklore perhaps, but always grounded in some grain of ecological truth. Even the Amazon holds mysteries. Researchers occasionally find orb weavers of unfamiliar patterns, their venom unstudied, their behaviors undocumented. Not monsters, but questions. echoes of what
Standing
else
at this
evolution
summit,
might have
looking
shaped
back
in the
down the
dark.
ladder, a strange perspective emerges. From mild irritants to apex toxins, the journey reveals not chaos, but structure. Not randomness, but extraordinary biological logic. Spiders are not antagonists in nature's story. They are artisans of survival, chemists hidden in leaf litter and bark crevices, spinning threads and crafting venom with a precision that humbles even modern science. Their existence reminds us that power does not require size, and danger does not announce itself with roar or presence. Sometimes it sits quietly in the corner of a room watching, waiting, never needing to strike unless the world gives it no other choice. And as you descend from this summit, one final question lingers like a tremor at the edge of thought. If spiders can achieve this level of perfection with silk and venom, what other creatures, hidden deeper in nature's shadows, have evolved along similarly terrifying paths? What predators, shaped by environments we have barely explored, wait in places where our understanding remains thin and fragile? The answer may lie in the next chapter of nature's darker designs, in a creature whose existence forces even seasoned biologists to pause, a predator of the forest canopy that defies the idea of what a spider should be, hunting not insects, but something far more unsettling. If the venomous spiders of Earth represent nature's mastery of chemistry, then the giant bird-eating arachnids represent evolution's willingness to push physical form to extremes. And that is where this story leads next, into the shadows of a predator few have seen clearly, a creature whispered about by researchers and feared by villagers. A spider built large enough, fast enough, and bold enough to capture prey with feathers. To continue this journey into the strange and the unbelievable, step into the next video. The giant spider that eats birds, evolution gone too far.